Okay. That's how this was supposed to start. Looking at the sky. Looking at the dog who's dragging me around. I already started. I don't know why this thing stopped. So, I haven't read the readings today. The dog was sick now. The other dog's got a bad back. Last week I had some surgery, and I guess that kind of got my schedule off. So I haven't read the readings of the day, and I haven't read the Saints today yet. But I will. What's in there, dog? One of these days we're going to come in here and find a fox sitting in there, and Gus is going to back him into the tree. Isn't that cool? I mean, you could sit in there, stand in there. Anyway, so I was thinking about, I'm not, as I've said, I'm not a political scholar or anything else. I'm just a guy who's lived most of his life by now. Ended up doing manual labor because I made the decision not to get a further education, whether it was college or a trade. And I made my decisions, and for right or wrong, good and bad decisions, I live with the consequences of those decisions. I don't blame the government or this ism or that ism for the things that my lot in life. I believe that most of what I've done, most of where I am, is due to my own decisions, good or bad. And when they're bad decisions, there's consequences. So, one of the consequences of not getting, say, a education where you can get a job where you use your brain is you use your body. If you use your body, you're going to end up with a sore back or sore knee or sore shoulder, things like that. So, but I'm trying to figure out, I wasn't obviously political when I was young. When I was young, I was probably like the rest of my generation. Old people don't know anything. Young people somehow have some extreme knowledge from their complete lack of experience. And I was probably the same. And so, anyway, I'm just a guy who's lived, and these are my thoughts. I suspect when I was young, I was more, I don't know if the word is liberal versus conservative, because again, I'm not not an expert on these terms, but I did look up left versus right, and in the very brief definition, giving the distinctions to the best of my memory, it said the left leans towards achieving social justice through economic and what was the other word? Economic and social, I don't know, not programs, but something, while the right leans towards people having freedom and private property and capitalism. In other words, the ability to make stuff and to earn your way. So when I look at that, the first thing that I see is trying to achieve social justice, which sounds to me like there isn't social justice, so the left has to make that happen through their government policies. First off, remember, whenever you get the government involved, you've got a middleman. So you got more money going to a group of people who really aren't making anything except for enacting policies and seeing that things that laws and things are done, are fulfilled. They're not actually making anything. So you've got this tick on your back that's just sucking your blood, the government. Anyway, and it wants to get, social and economic, equality or whatever. Well, first off, people aren't equal. Some people are smarter. The guy who comes up with an invention, or his brain just figures out a way to make some new product or solve a problem that helps humanity, he should get the benefit of his brain power. I shouldn't get benefit from that. And anyway, so it seems like on that side, on the left side, it seems like the government wants to just change things for people who don't have so they can have, which sounds nice, but shouldn't the person themselves make their own luck, make their own fortune, make their own way? Shouldn't a son and a daughter leave the house and become an adult and take care of themselves rather than let mom and dad take care of them forever? Obviously, that's not always going to happen, but that should be that's the way adults work. They leave and cling to, the man leaves and clings to his wife, and the two become one. Now they're a couple and they're taking care of each other and whatever children develop from that union. It's not the government's job to take care of my children. It's supposed to be my job, my wife's job. And then on the other side, you got the right, which seems to say being able to own private property, and the definition, and capitalism seems to be their way. To me, that seems more logical. I mean, if you're going back on the left side, then it sounds like everybody would, it sounds like something that a person who doesn't have would want from a person who does have, and then the person who does have has less. So through the government enforcing this, it sounds like you're just making people who have something, have earned something or gotten it for whatever way, that you're forcing them to give to people who didn't earn, didn't get some lucky break, or didn't come up with some invention, or didn't decide to start a business, and took the gamble to learn something, whether it's laying carpet or doing lawn work or being a plumber. So, yeah, to me, it seems like it's a better idea that we each try to earn for ourselves. And it's not always going to work, and that's where we have safety nets. But to just, as the left seems to say, just, the rich have too much, take it from them and give it to the poor. What are you talking about? The rich, to some degree or another, earned what they got. Now, some people inherit, but yeah. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Those are my comments today on left and right. Those are generalizations, of course. There's sorry, Gus, I can't get your, oh man, look at that drool, you nasty. Look at that, you're drooling all over yourself. I got my hand stuck in my pocket. I can't get these stinking treat out. Sorry, dog. Where's the opening? I got a bag of treats in here. And for some reason, blast it all. Where's the opening to this plastic bag? Sorry, Gus. Here. Ah, nasty. You're nasty. So anyway, those are my thoughts on left versus right. Yeah, I believe the church says there's nothing wrong with owning private property, and that a person who works and earns something should be able to have private property, should be able to, but I believe the teaching of the church is also that if you have enough, you should give to the poor. So maybe there's a philosophy or some political thought that we might, or some thought we might think. I'll close with this. I've told someone near to me that I've talked to often about why they say they should take from the rich and it should give to the poor. And I've said this before, we live 100 years on this earth. What we do determines where we live infinity, the rest of our lives for all eternity. So if you're the richest guy in eating and drinking and enjoying the most sumptuous things and having the most luxury or the most comfort in this world for 100 years, but then you suffer for the gazillion years after, versus someone who, let's say, suffered for an entire 100 years. I'm using 100 as a general, about the limit we get on this earth, unless you were Abraham or one of those guys. Even if you suffered for a full 100 years and then you ended up in heaven for the gazillion years after and enjoyed your reward, who's the winner there? So if rich people don't want to give, if rich people want to keep and don't care or do things whether legal or not legal or legal and just unethical and not take care of the poor, you know, I think they're gonna get theirs. Don't worry. They're not gonna win. In the long run, they won't win. So let's continue to ask the saints to pray for us, and let's continue to pray for the souls in purgatory.